Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is November 28th, and right now we're looking at the visible satellite imagery. You can see our storm system off the coastline here. It is weakening as it approaches, and it should bring precipitation mainly to the coastal regions here. There is a chance for a bit more here across some of the higher terrain of Southern California, but we'll look at those details as we go. And we've got a couple inside slider systems that are going to drop down out of the northwest, potentially bringing some more precipitation and some mountain snowfall with them as well. And then we're going to turn things a bit more southwesterly as some atmospheric rivers start to move into the west coast here. We'll see just how much of California these are going to include as we look at the weather models as well. This day, SoCal weather history, November 28th, both of these kind of highlight Big Bear here, and you can see 75 and 1981. Got some snow out there, even a private plane crashed out there, and it killed all three people on board, but some impressive snowfall amounts can fall at this time of year. Nothing like that yet in our future, however. And this is National Weather Service Sacramento talking about that unsettled weather. Returns later this week in through the weekend here. So we'll dive into those details here as we go through the video this morning. Rain, most likely rain arrival times. You can see it kind of comes down the coastline here as we go through the day Tuesday and then eventually overnight into Wednesday morning as it tracks down the coastline here. And you can see not much for the I-5 corridor, at least with the initial round here. And then we're going to bring some inside sliders, which may not bring much precipitation for the valley areas also, but could bring some mountain snow. Light rain this week. You can see generally light amounts expected in Los Angeles, for example. You can see maybe starting by Wednesday sometime during the day and continuing on in through Friday for some light precipitation amounts. This is snow amounts probability Thursday night through Friday morning. And these are the chances for 2 or more inches of snow. And then you've got 4 or more here on the right. So we could pick up some decent amounts, especially across some of the higher terrain over the next few days. And this is Phoenix, Arizona. We mentioned this yesterday as well. The cooler and wetter weather upcoming here, especially for the northern half of Arizona. And some of the higher terrain could be picking up some snowfall here as well. And we're definitely going to cool things down as the system slides through as we go through the later portion of this week into the weekend. This is Winter Storm Severity Index, and you can see it does include some of the Sierra Nevada here, and this may be uptrended here if the model runs continue to show some of that snowfall flying. You can see some of the northern higher elevations here at California, some of Nevada, and some of Arizona and Utah also included, and this goes out all the way through 3 days here coming up. And if you guys want a nice affordable home weather station, click on that link down below to save 10% off. It's got an ultrasonic anemometer. It's all solar powered and wireless. Got a lightning detection system with it as well. Great smartphone app. Now taking a look at the NAM, the 12Z hot off the presses here. So we're looking at the winds, and we're not doing too bad here, and no exceptionally windy areas right now as we scroll through the day today, but you can see maybe a little bit of gusty wind activity here out of the south with that storm system arriving. But as we go on in through Wednesday afternoon and evening, you can see some of these stronger winds kick across some of the higher terrain, some of the desert areas, some westerly winds, maybe to Tehachapi out there, getting some gusty northwest winds as well as we go through Wednesday night and on into Thursday morning. You can see them out of the northwest and the west there. And then we start to bring that flow back down out of the north across much of the coastal areas there as well, all the way in through Thursday afternoon. Taking a look at total precipitation in inches. So this is an AM3KM. This is a high resolution model. It's only going to go out 60 hours, but it does show our initial storm system rolling in here. And you can kind of see some decent amounts of precipitation just generally north of the Bay Area or just right off the coastline here. But some of this will be impacting some of the coastal regions here. And watch as we go through Thursday morning. It's showing some bigger amounts, maybe towards Oceanside or somewhere down towards San Diego. And especially across some of the higher terrain, they're actually showing more than an inch of water equivalent down there. Actually, it will just be rain. It's not going to be snow across the higher terrain of California just yet. Maybe some of the higher peaks here like Big Bear could see a few flakes mixing in there, but not a big snow event overall. Now looking at the GFS, the 12Z round, you got the state of California here. There's the Hawaiian Islands there. There goes our current system off the coastline. So as we scroll through, you can see as we go into Wednesday morning, it's going to be tracking down the coastline and showing a little bit of precip there for Southern California. Then we got the next system here as we go through Thursday night into Friday, and that could be bringing some snow to some of Northern California, the Sierra Nevada here, Nevada, northern Arizona mainly, some of New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah as well. And then another impulse rides over the top there. And the GFS has the 1-2 punch here, bringing some decent snowfall here across some of the Sierra Nevada. I mean, we're not looking at super heavy amounts here, but you will notice it if you are out and about traveling. And this goes through Saturday afternoon, shown there, wrapping up sometime Saturday night. And then another impulse kind of moving over the top of this ridging here across a lot of the southwest and atmospheric rivers sliders are really pointed into the Pacific Northwest here and may include some of California at times. We'll continue to watch that as we go. And if we go way off into the future here, you can see some active weather out over the Pacific right here, but not much showing up for California through the extent. But that can change. We'll watch that daily. Now, taking a look at 6-hour precipitation and type here on the European. This is yesterday afternoon's run. So there goes our initial system down the coastline. And again, you can see if I scroll back and forth here, it mainly affects the coastal areas. And this is that system that brings some decent snowfall for the higher terrain of Arizona, however, and it's going to cool things down across the entire region. And then the inside slider comes down, and you can see it bringing some decent snowfall to some of Northern California, Sierra Nevada, portions of Nevada, as we go on in through late Thursday night into Friday morning. Then another impulse kind of rides over the top, maybe a few more snow showers here for the Sierra Nevada, maybe Lake Tahoe as we go on in through the weekend as well. And you can kind of see it still including some of California in those atmospheric rivers here as we start to turn the flow more southwesterly off the coastline. Let's scroll ahead here and just kind of check out what's coming in the future. And you can see the European actually has a system coming through next week as well. But we'll monitor that as we go day by day. Now, total snow-Kuchera ratio in inches. You got the European on the left here versus the GFS on the right. So we're going to watch for some of that snow across Arizona, the Sierra Nevada, Northern California, and Nevada. So let's put this into motion. And you can see a little bit of differences here. You can see how the European likes to bring the snow in a little bit quicker Thursday night through Friday morning. Not much showing up on the GFS as yesterday afternoon, but then it brings us a better secondary around here as we go through the weekend here. But you can see the European bringing snow a little bit further south and a bit more snow here for portions of Arizona as well. Now, taking a look here at the European, the 060 total precipitation in inches. Here goes the initial storm down the coastline there. Some for Southern California, and then the secondary system here. This is water equivalent too, so some of this is going to be falling as snowfall across some of the higher terrain of Arizona and California, as I mentioned. And then you can see kind of California, Northwest California, over the next few days. This goes through Sunday night, being included in some of the atmospheric river potential here. So, as you can see, not a big washout here for the state of California. Maybe Northwest California gets included in some of those heavier amounts, and we have a few days to continue to break that down. Probability of snowfall greater than an inch. This is the European ensemble run as of last night, and you can see it does include Northern California, Sierra Nevada. Pretty good odds for some snowfall incoming here in northern Arizona, Nevada, Utah as well. Now, taking a look at the wider view of things, we got Hawaiian Islands here. This is looking at 500 millibars, 18,000 feet up in the atmosphere. You can see California here. There's a storm system off our coastline right now. It slides through. Then we get this next system here, a pretty chilly system diving out of the northwest. Another impulse there arrives as we go through the week. And then we build the ridging here across a lot of the southwest. And we're going to get that southwest flow, bringing some precipitation into the west coast. But for the most part, it's kind of favored Central California north right now. But like I said, we'll be monitoring that as we go. Now, taking a look at the European, we're looking at the diurnal heating cycle here. You can see as we go through the day today, some mid-60s, maybe some upper 60s for the valley areas. You can see maybe some low 70s around Los Angeles Metro and some mid-70s across the desert areas in Phoenix. Nice and comfortable. As we go through Wednesday, something similar there. And then you can see the overnight lows. And then we warm back up again there on Thursday, cooling down a bit here as we go through Thursday. You see some low 60s popping up there. And you see the cool down across Southern California and maybe just some low 70s down towards the Mexico-California border there. And as we go on through Friday, then you'll see that temperature drop start to occur as well. You can only see some 50s here across the valley areas, nice and comfortable still across some of the desert areas, but getting a bit of chill in the atmosphere out there as this system moves down and brings that cooling with it. Here's looking at the GFS. So this is a 12Z, and again, this is at 500 millibars, 18,000 feet. And we're going to go ahead and check to see if it agrees with the European. There goes the initial system. And it brings that next impulse over the top of the ridge, and then the second one here. So the GFS might have actually increased its snow amount with that initial inside slider here, kind of dropping down over the backside of this ridge out over the Pacific Ocean. And then we turn things back out of the southwest, really going to hammer the Pacific Northwest with some atmospheric rivers, and may include portions of California, as I've been mentioning here, as you can kind of see that active troughing pattern as we go through the early portion of December. Here's San Francisco. We might get some decent precipitation totals out of this initial storm here, showing 0.3 of an inch. Some of the ensembles do have higher. The mean is right around 0.3 of an inch here as well, and maybe some showers with one of those inside sliders coming down as we go through the week. weekend. This is San Diego, calling for around of a tenth of an inch here. The mean is about 0.15 inches of precipitation. Palm Springs, can't rule it out, a rain shower there, but not showing up too much. The mean actually has up towards a tenth of an inch, however. Looking at Big Bear, you might see some snow across some of the higher peaks of Southern California, but should not be a big deal right now. As you can see, very light amount showing up in the ensemble runs here on the European. This is Phoenix, actually some precipitation expected there, 0.3 of an inch showing up in the latest control run, and the mean is right there, just above 0.2 of an inch also. And here's the 6 to 10 day. You can see the sharp cutoff there. Central California north above average, and Southern California below average, including Arizona and New Mexico here. This would be December 3rd through December 7th. Here's the 6 to 10 day temperature here, and kind of above average for much of the state of California expected. This will be when we're in the southwest flow, bringing the warmer temperatures here associated with that. You can see 8 to 14 day precipitation probability, and something similar to what the 6 to 10 day was showing there also. And this is 8 to 14 day temperature probability outlook with the warmer southwesterly flow there. And just a reminder here, I get a lot of questions about El Nino, and I'll do another update here in the next couple of days. But El Nino a lot of times doesn't show its face until we get into the early portion of the January, February, March timeframe. That jet stream, subtropical jet, sometimes needs a lot of time to get going. And by the time you get to the early portion of the new year, the Aleutian low gets cranking here, and those warmer water temperatures really start to take effect when we bring a powerful subtropical jet back towards the state of California when we do get wet El Nino. So a lot of times El Nino won't really be showing its face until we get into the early portion of the new year. So just a heads up on that. But anyway, I hope you guys are liking these videos. We'll do this again tomorrow. We'll break everything down, and I will talk to you guys then.